So I'm excited to have you all here, and I just wanted to, I love the law of attraction. I've been studying it for 20 years, and I wanted to present some of the things that I've really learned. It's a lot of the things that I've learned over the 20 years, and I knew when I went to my first training that Utaptics Faster EFT was going to be able to help me take it to a new level, because I manifested really cool things, but then I was also manifesting crap. I don't know if you've experienced that, but
Yeah.
it's like, what's going on? I thought this was supposed to work. But it's now that I've been working on myself for, it'll be 2 years in July. It's really changed what I am attracting. So I just was excited and I wanted to share it with everybody. So let me go ahead and go over the release. So welcome to the Miranda Sullivan Self-Love Tribe. We're not in the actual tribe, but I do have a group. If you haven't joined it and you want to join it, I go live every Monday. So you're welcome to be in there and get support. And I do some trainings, I do some tapping, and so you can use those as tap-alongs. And then let's see, you guys can't see my screen yet, can you?
No.
Okay, yeah, see, I told you. I said I was a little bit nervous about this, and this is why. So I'm not used to doing this. Okay, I got to share screen. Here we go. Now you guys will be able to see it. Okay, so yeah, that's my little logo for the Self-Love Tribe. And I'll go over the release. So welcome. And I just wanted to go over this. By participating, you agree that the video is educational information purposes. It does not constitute medical advice, which is good, because I'm not a dietitian, doctor, counselor, or therapist, psychologist, or psychiatrist. And I guide people to develop better life skills, and these videos are for the purpose of understanding how these techniques have helped improve their lives to enable them to use them in their own lives. And while the techniques used and taught in this session have created impressive results for many, they are still considered experimental with no guarantee outcome for any individual. You agree to take full responsibility for your own physical, mental, and emotional health, and consult your physician and/or therapist regarding your use of any of the techniques used or taught in the program or a corresponding Facebook support group. This session is being recorded, and by participating, you give permission to be recorded. Say what I say and tap where I tap to gain your own benefits. And I go live every Monday at 6:30 Central Standard Time. I'll be doing either lives like this via Zoom, where you can participate, or it would be inside the Self-Love Tribe group. And I go live on StreamYard. So if you have any questions, you can email me at mirandasullivancoaching@gmail.com or PM me here on Facebook, and let's start loving ourselves from the inside out. That just really spoke to me when Robert would talk about that. I'm like, that, I want to do that. I want to love myself from the inside out. So then let's go into this. And okay. Thank you all for bearing with me. There we go. Okay. Here's my other presentation. Okay, so creating a life we love with Miranda Sullivan. And of course, I'm a certified Faster EFT level 3 practitioner. So I'm getting ready to go on to level 4 in May. So I'm pretty excited about that. Now, can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Do you have any questions at this point? Okay, awesome. Okay, so new beginnings. Being ready to start something new, putting things in God's hands. If you believe in God or some type of higher power, obviously you don't have to believe in anything specific to use Utaptics. But I'm sharing a story with you guys, and that's kind of how I do things. And you can create a whole new world for yourself. And so I wanted to share my story. So why is all this important? We have things that we think about, we have desires. And if you have any, if you want to take any notes, you're welcome to do that. You can write them down. And if you have any experiences that you want to share, just raise your hand or pop it in the comment section. So, like I said, I'm gonna go back to this one. So, like I said, I've been studying the law of attraction for 20 years. I started going to Unity of Phoenix, and my friend introduced me to it, and I was at first I was like, because the God that I grew up with just did not make me feel good at all. So the fact that she was inviting me to church, I was pretty reluctant, but she said, just go 3 times. Just go 3 times and see how you like it. And they actually teach about positive prayer and positive affirmations. And that's where I learned about Mary Manin Morrissey, which I used to be friends with, and got to see Joe Dispenza talk, and Bob Proctor. He used to come to the church, and they were actually the fastest growing Unity in the whole world at the time that I was going. So I got to see Debbie Ford and just all kinds of amazing New Thought, as they were calling them, leaders. And it was incredible for me to start learning how to focus on what I did want in life. And some people look at that as prayer. And I had a lot of changes going on. My son passed away about 1.5 years after I joined the church. And I went and saw a kind of like an intuitive healer. And that day after a session, she said, you're not going to be here in this state this time next year. And I thought, news to me. I wasn't even thinking about moving. And I said, I wonder where I'd go. But as soon as I said that, I said that I would move to Nashville. I was like, I could see it, the trees and the flowers and the grass. So I moved to Nashville. Didn't work out very well. I was an emotional mess. I went to Montana for about 1.5 years, spent time with my family, delved into, it was amazing the people that I attracted there, a lot of like-minded people, delved into learning how to get in touch with that guidance within me. And I was trying to learn how to let go of belief systems and things like that, but it was a little bit more along the lines of past lives and things like that. And I did learn and grow, and I healed. I definitely healed some. But when I came to Nashville, because of the fact that I had learned to focus on what I wanted, I didn't know if I wanted to live in Nashville again after spending that much time in such a small city. So I moved to Clarksville. But it was interesting that the first weekend I came down here to see a couple friends I had stayed in touch with, everything that I love to do, we ended up doing, and it's what they had planned, not me. The only thing I had planned is where I was staying, and that was Nancy's. And so we went to the Shaw's Horses in Murfreesboro. We went to Saturday night dance at the park where they have these big band dances, and we came out to Bellevue, which is where I've lived for 13 years now. And I met 3 songwriters, which is pretty easy to do here in Nashville. But I thought it was interesting that there were 3, and they were at 3 different parts of their career. One of them was at the beginning, kind of singing and writing for her friends and family. The other one came here to get his songs pitched, and the other one was actually a hit songwriter in a band called Trick Pony. That's Ira Dean, and I'm actually friends with him on Facebook now. I was like, okay, God, I want to take this full circle and connect with him, so I'm friends with him on Facebook. But he's had lots, besides being successful in the band that he was in, he's had lots of hits with other people that have cut his songs too. So anyhow, so this got me pondering, because I really wanted to learn I wanted to be a writer, but I didn't do well in English. So when I started going to Unity, it kind of started opening me up. And especially when I got into fluency and started, getting in touch with that guidance system, I would just started writing, and just really kind of beautiful, interesting things would come out of me. And so I said, I want an example. And within like 3 hours, a poem poured out of me. And I was just amazed. I mean, I don't think I've ever written a poem. And I thought, oh my gosh, if I could do that, I would love to learn how to write a song. And I realized later on, I kept thinking that I want to learn how to write songs. I want to learn how to write songs. So I moved down to Nashville, got a job, and met all kinds of people in the music industry. And it was really cool, but I wasn't happy at my job. And the thing that I loved with the exposure that I had to a woman, Edwin Gaines at Unity, she said she teaches about prosperity. And she is a hoot. She is just funny, the stories. Does anybody know Edwin Gaines? She is just a hoot, and she just gets herself in, because she's like, I'm breaking that fear, and she does the craziest things. She goes on these retreats and walks across fire and does all these crazy things, and you just would not picture her doing these things. And so anyhow, she travels over. She did, she was traveling around to the churches teaching about prosperity. But she always said that you should love your job, and that wasn't really a big thing for me when I first started out, because I had a son. I had a son when I was 15, and I got out there in the corporate world, and I was working for him mostly. I did kind of enjoy my job, and as I got into things, I liked my job more and more. But I was like, I should love my job. So I did Burning the Bowl, which is a thing that I learned at Unity, where you take down and you write what you don't want in your life anymore, and then you write what you do want, and kind of set a new intention. To me, it was like the beginnings of eugenics. You write down what you don't want and you burn it, and then you set a new intention with God. But that's about all you could do. And it did make a huge difference in my life. But for whatever reason, this year, I sat down and had a conversation with God after I did that. And I was like, okay, God, I'm willing to, is everybody okay with me using the word God?
Yes.
I don't want to offend anybody. So anyhow, I said, I'm willing, it just doesn't feel like what I'm here to do. And when I was at Unity, I actually worked for the children's choir. I didn't do any of the music. I was doing all logistic stuff. And I learned that I really love to work with kids and music. And I kind of had that intent when I moved here, that I wanted to work with kids and music, but I didn't know what it would be. And so I said, I'm willing to put it in your hands, is what it is I'm here to be. And I'd ended up moving out to Bellevue, and I had a roommate, and she worked with a songwriter, Beth Nielsen Chapman. She's an incredible songwriter. She was her assistant. And then she also had a day that she would go take care of this little boy. She was a nanny to this boy. And that really spoke to me. And I asked her about it, and she told me about this Family Care Connection, this agency. So I applied. But within 3 weeks of me putting that in God's hands as to what it was I was here to do, I got laid off. And I was like, okay, I guess we're on an adventure, And so not long after that, I got invited to go to a book signing at a Davis Kid bookstore here in Nashville. And so we went. And I picked up a book, Breaking Into Nashville, about songwriting in the music business. And I thought, well, I probably ought to get that if I want to learn how to write songs. But, I just got laid off. So I put it back. I thought I'll wait till I get a job. So then I got invited to go to Pennsylvania. And the gal there, she's part of the academy, and she's an artist. She'd been an artist for a long time. So she gets to vote on who receives a Grammy. So she invited me to take her, because we didn't have Uber and Lyft back then, and she liked to drink. So she wanted to have somebody, be the designated driver. And I thought, Grammy viewing party, sure, sounds like fun. So I go, and I walked in, and I met these two women that actually help people heal. And they wrote songs, and I was like, I want to do that. And then this other couple came in with this woman, and we eventually started talking to them, and they'd been nominated for like 19 Grammy Awards. They were friends with Johnny Cash. I was like, holy cow. And we got talking and sharing stories and stuff. And it came up that I wanted to learn how to songwrite. And I was like, I really want to learn how to songwrite. And the woman that I was talking to said, well, you ought to go get my book, Breaking Into Nashville. The book that I had picked up 3 weeks earlier. And now I'm sitting here talking to the person that wrote it. And I was like, holy cow, are you kidding me? This is really happening to me. So all this stuff came in. I ended up going out to her house. She lives here in Bellevue. She is a ex-Dallas cop, and she's a self-taught songwriter. She had cuts with Johnny Cash and Patty Loveless, and she wrote with Garth Brooks. She gave me a cassette tape of Garth Brooks standing in her kitchen singing Heaven Sent, the song that they wrote together. And she took me out for lunch, and she was like, oh yeah, you're passionate, you're emotional. She saw my poem. She was like, yeah, go for it. And then Ronnie, that I met that night, he helped me learn how to go from writing poetry into writing actual lyrics. And then Family Care Connection had actually called me, and I started working as a nanny. And I was like, I can't believe I'm getting paid to take care of kids. So I absolutely loved it. I was in a new place. I was going, I started volunteering at the Country Music Hall of Fame, and going playing volleyball, going and doing all the touristy things here, and just meeting new people, meeting songwriters, just having a blast. And there is a point to this whole story. So then I got inspired to write a children's book, and I won't get into that, but I ended up writing children's songs that went along with it. I just won $5,000 last week. I was in a summit with Selena, and she decided to give away $10,000, and I participated the way that she asked, along with another gal and several other people, and they decided that me and her were kind of standing out from everybody else as to what we would do with the money. So they awarded her $5,000 and me $5,000. And what's so interesting about it is I just started applying more about what it is that I wanted to make and the people that I wanted to help a couple weeks before that. I started visualizing and feeling what it would like to have that amount of money in my account. And I was like, and it just came in. And then I've had clients come in, and it just keeps flowing, and the love keeps flowing. And it's just like, I wanted to share this with everybody, because it's like, it's amazing how when you use this, it really does work. It does really improve your life. Not only am I living in the present moment more than I ever have, I'm off 16 years of anxiety meds, 2 years of an antidepressant. PTSD is gone. Healed insomnia. I was having some chronic bladder infections and yeast infections. That's gone. There's a few things that I'm still working on, but it has done incredible things in my life. And the point is that when I moved here, I didn't have any belief systems. I had a clean slate. I was just taking it all in. And so things were just flowing. I even went to, because of the fact that I was volunteering at the Country Music Hall of Fame, I was part of this presentation where the kids, because a lot of the kids that came in were in a program where they could write lyrics, and the songwriter would take the lyrics and put music to it. And then they'd get to hear those songs at the end of their tour. And then at the end of the year, they would take 10 overall songs, and the kids would get to perform them in the Ford Theater, and in front of their families. So I got to go to that. And while I was there, a lot of the songwriters had music in the movies. I was like, I wonder how you get music in the movies. And the same friend that I went to Pennsylvania with sends over this workshop about how do you get your movies in the movies. So I went to that, and I met more people. And then I went to see John D. Loudermilk. I didn't usually volunteer on the weekends, because I manifested a job that I wanted, to where I could get paid and go volunteer once a month for one hour while Ansley Grace was in preschool, and go do my volunteer work. But this time I volunteered on the weekend, and I didn't really know him, and he was a songwriter, and it was my job to go around and tell people. And he wrote Tobacco Road and Indian Reservation, which I used to sing over and over and over when I was a kid. And Tobacco Road was, he may have the record still, I'm not sure. Over 200 artists recorded that one song. And the thing that I loved about John D., because I finally went in, there were so many people in there, he started talking about, he goes, does anybody know about Edgar Cayce? And I was like, yeah, I've heard about Edgar Cayce. I've never read the books, but it talks about spirituality and, and manifestation and stuff like that. And So then he starts talking about his teacher telling him, you know, if you read these, I'll pass you in the class. And then she said, you're a songwriter. Do you have an album? And he was like, yeah, I do have an album that I've written. And she said, she talked about the process of going within and visualizing back then, the DJ putting the needle on the record and saying, and this is today's #1 hit. And she said, insert the name of your song. She said, don't do it more than once because then you don't believe it. And he was like, I did that on every single song. I was like, oh my gosh, that's what I believe in, you know? And not necessarily you only have to do it once, but anyhow, so that's the thing. And so, but as I lived here, all the stuff that I used to do, all the programs, all the woe is me, you know, I lost my son, all that other stuff, finally caught up with me. And I ended up, you know, a couple years ago in Utaptic's Faster EFT. So I just thought it's a really cool story to see if you let this stuff go, you know, what you can manifest in your life. So we all have patterns and belief systems, and we take them with wherever we go. And when we're new to somewhere, or I've noticed like when we go to training, we go on vacation, we aren't so focused on the negative, we're focused on the new. And this is where tapping on ourselves a lot. I don't know if I would have known how much I had to tap on myself to get out of this stuff, I may not have signed up, but I would, because it's just been incredible. So tapping on ourselves a lot when we're at home, changing those states of being is really important. And Utaptic's Faster EFT allows us to let go of those patterns, those states of being, those belief systems, to be in a new state of being. And I'm so excited that I'm getting to experience this again. So the same patterns and belief systems, it all helped me change, but if we don't heal, we can get right back into the same belief patterns. And that child in me, I didn't get what I want, so I was unhappy. You know, it just, everything that I prayed for, I kept manifesting, you know, guys that were not emotionally unavailable. It just, you know, all this different stuff because I didn't know I needed Utaptics. So, and as you guys know, we're born, we don't, you know, why we have problems. We're born into a stage that is already set. Our caregivers and parents already have the issues that they have and cope with those issues the way they do. And we learn how to cope with life through those experiences from them, and also create our own thinking and ways of being to survive through that experience. So how, I'm curious, just go ahead and put in the box, when you guys first heard that, what was that like for you? Was that kind of an aha moment for you, or did you already know that? Or share that with me in the comment box. Okay, here we go. We need that there. Let's see. You know what? I can't even see the box right now. Natasha, can you read those off? Did anybody respond? I guess maybe
Yeah. So Lynn says, I'm a clinician and had studied some of these concepts. And I said, maybe on some level, I was aware. Wendy said, I knew my mom did her best. I knew I was doing my best, but I wanted to do better for myself.
Okay. Okay, good. Good. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I've noticed that even before I got into Utaptics, it was like, you know, I'd meet people and it was like, wow, you know, they're kind of intense. They got these issues, they got those issues. And then I would meet their parents and I was like, wow, these guys are doing much better than their parents were doing. So yeah, I definitely hear you there. And I am, I would say I was grateful all the time, because they say to do that, you know, to be grateful, but I wasn't before I gotten started with, I was not grateful for everything that I've been through, you know, losing my son, just a lot of the, the emotional stuff, the traumas, I mean, it was really hard to be grateful for that stuff. But now that I have a tool that actually helps you let it go the way that it does, now I am grateful. I'm grateful that I get to be here. I know my son would want me to be happy. I'm amazed at how well I can do, because at the time that he left, I was just like, I felt like he got me to God, because I was there for a year and a half at Unity. I had a whole support system. I was involved in that church. I would work and I would go to church. I was going to classes. I volunteered with I was totally involved. I knew probably half the church. And it was just like, you got your support system and you're ready to do this on your own, is the way I felt. But trying to get my emotional, part of myself to get up with that was definitely hard. And as Robert teaches, we learn how to cope and avoid our issues, because we really don't know how to work on them unless we have some type of other thing that we do. We smoke, we do drugs, we drink alcohol, bury our feelings with food. I went from smoking, and I drank alcohol, and then I went into burying foods. You go from one to the other, it's like, oh, I want to get better, but then we don't really know how to work with their stuff. So then we go from one avoidance experience to another. Working out, it does. I'm definitely for working out. I'm definitely for doing yoga. I'm definitely for cleaning our house. But when we're doing it because we're full on in steam mad, which I did a lot of house cleaning with that, we actually have a system that we can work through and let go of our feelings and hopefully go back and, find the core issue and release those experiences that we've had. So those states of beings, we learn how to do what we do, and we learn how to do it really well. How did that go for you guys when you heard that? Can you type that in the box? Here, now I figured out how to get to the chat. I know it really blew me away. I was like, really? You're telling me that I caused all this? Right. Yeah. Yeah. I know. And then it's like so Lynn said, I definitely found where I was doing things to myself. And I totally, it was hard to accept at first. Yeah. And that's what Sherry said. And the last line is the core principle that we need to learn. Right. Yes. Thank you, Natasha. Yeah, I mean, it's like, really, I've been doing this to myself. And it's like when I'm doing my sessions with my clients and we have a hard time not even laughing, because you have this incredible tool that we're using that takes the emotion out of it, that takes that fight or flight feeling out of it, that, the regret, whatever feeling is that we're having around that situation, the faces that we see, the anger that we see, the things that we feel about ourselves or the people that are in those experiences that we've had in our past, you can start seeing it in a new way. You're tapping on the amygdala. And I'm just going to go over this really quick. So you guys already know, but for people that might end up watching us, we tap in between the eyes because we want to pay attention to what it is that's bothering us. We want to notice it 0 to 10, how strong it is. Give it a number, 10 being the highest. And then you go ahead and start tapping. You do it between the eyes, next to the eye, below the eye, and then right here on the collarbone. And you want to pay attention to your fingertips tapping. And it doesn't matter if you do it with one hand or two hands. And this is something that I discovered here lately, because sometimes I go out and drive for Uber. This is my first year, well, it's over a year with my practice of working with clients. So sometimes I supplement my income. I go out and drive for Uber, and it's just actually kind of fun. With COVID going on and everything, it's been a social way for me to get out. So I've learned if I just Like when I'm in line or something, I just press, and then I go right here and I just rub in a circle. And I just sit there and things will come up and I'm able to kind of process through it. And then I kind of just do this again. And it just really keeps me calm. And then if a memory pops, a memory will pop up, and then I'll start working on it. I'll give it a number and I'll start tapping it out. I'll defrac it. And of course, this is one of the ways that we are different. We use tapping, but this system is totally different than EFT because we actually defrac, right, ladies? We defrac our stuff. And that is so awesome. It's so awesome because you go in, you feel it. It's good, bad, collapse. You go in, you feel it, you see it, you hear it, smell it, whatever those senses are that you've experienced in it. And then you come back out and you pay attention to your fingertips tapping, which is a defrac. But then we can also watch a funny video. We can watch we can listen to a song that puts us in a good state. We can look around the room and see all the purple things in the room, right? So you do several rounds. And then you hug your wrist, you blow it out and you say peace. And then you go into a good state of being, a good memory. And you want to choose something that makes you feel good. So it could be like, a pet that you pet, or it could be a vacation that you went on. Like I went to Greece in 2019 for level 3 training. It was incredible. We got to go swimming in the ocean every morning. So I picture myself jumping into the water with Robert and all my friends, my new friends. Now I have friends all over the world, which I've wanted for a long time. You just sit there and you experience it for about 16 seconds or so. And you notice those good things about it. Pick out 3 things that make you feel good. Like it was being in the water because the temperature was awesome. Being included, that's a big thing for me. I love to be included. And just hearing the voices and the beauty of that area. It was just incredible. And then you hug your wrist to ground it out and blow it out and say peace. And then you go back into what it was you were working on. And we're actually going to work on something. I just wanted to give kind of a demonstration for somebody that watches this replay. And so we learn how to do what we do, and we do it well. Like with me, my mom was depressed. She was on depression medication. And so learning what Robert had to say, it's like, oh, wow, I did, and that was another thing. That's why I loved Unity, because they talked about being positive, because everybody in my world, it just felt so negative. We were always complaining, we were always griping and, saying what we didn't like about life. We didn't seem like we said a lot about what we did want in life. And it's just like learning how to write or drive a car. All those negative experiences that you've had, every time that we drive a car or every time that we write, we don't go back to where it was that we learned how to do that. We just do it without even thinking. And the same thing goes for attracting the same relationships, behaviors, eating that food, all those different things that we want to break. And then when we go in these break these states of being by defracking them with the system, then you start changing. Then you start doing things differently. There's so many things that I haven't specifically worked on, but I start do it differently. It's one of them is speaking up for what it is that I want. And that was another thing that I corded really well, because back in the day and age when I grew up, as many of us did, my mom was very, at the beginning, she was very submissive to my dad. So I learned how to be that kind of like passive aggressive. It's like I had a hard time asking for what I wanted or what I needed or whatever. I was there for everybody else. And of course, when she started sticking up for herself, they got divorced. But and then, as Natasha said, everything inside of us is us. And yes, that was an incredible thought of like, if we've had an experience and like, maybe an old boyfriend or our parents doing something to us, and we keep just sitting there replaying it in our minds, we're doing it to us. Are you guys doing better at breaking those states of being and not replaying that stuff? Are you guys doing better with that? If so, put a yes in the box. That's a yes. That's a yes that I want us to all focus on. Yes. We're not causing ourselves to feel yucky. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, awesome. Love that. Okay. So, and as you guys know, if we go in and we change those characters of what it is that we experienced, we change that state of being, and it changes the chemical reaction inside of us, it changes the way that we're doing things. And being persistent and consistent is the deal. I just kind of laugh at myself because when I went to level 3 in Greece, I got this. I worked on those traumas. I don't have a lot of stuff I need to work on. Yeah, then the COVID came and it was like, oh yeah, you got a lot of stuff to work on, sister. I really had to plow in and, you know, being with myself, it was like, I really learned how much I had not that I did it intentionally, but how much I fed on relationships to calm me down, to get me into a different place. Because, well, and you know, so many of us don't know how to do it for ourselves. So it's like so many of my friends are like, wow, Miranda, you're in such a different space, you know, because I feel empowered, you know, because it's like, I know how to take care of my emotional stuff now. Thank you, Robert. Are you guys starting to feel empowered yet with the work that you're doing? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Sherry's like, I don't know.
Right.
When.
I don't know. Trying.
Yay. You're trying. Okay. All right. Well, I tell you, it just takes working on yourself and working with, you know, practitioners. It really, really helps. So how you tapped X Faster FT helps us create that new state of being. We work ourselves in the moment. I was just talking about this the other day. Natasha was like, I don't know, I said something to her and I was like, you know, I keep forgetting to work on that. And she's like, Miranda, you need to tap on it in the moment. Because it's that, which is something that I need to work on, this feeling of I'm going to miss out. I'm going to miss that root of stuff, you know, but it's going to, you know, it's going to come up, you know, and when I do a work with a practitioner, that root of stuff is going to come up. But just when you get triggered, I had a tendency to just, oh, I need to do an art of change. I really need to, you know, and then I wouldn't get around to it. So it's like doing the work on ourselves in the moment. How are you guys doing working on yourselves? Is it going good for you? Or are you stuck a little bit? Let me know in the chat box. Where'd my little thingy go? It disappeared. Can't see the chat box now. Okay.
Oops.
Okay, good. Find areas of resistance. Okay. Because I was so dependent on other people that I was having a hard time working on myself, just sitting down and sitting with me, doing an art of change, trying to find the root. I was pretty good, you know, at working myself in the moment, not all the time, but I was pretty good at working myself in the moment. But I always wanted to do sessions. But it's like, I want to get over emotional eating. I can't call up a practitioner every time I get triggered and I want to shove food in my face. I'm working and keep learning. I feel like I want to rewrite my rewrites. Well, yeah, and that's okay. That's okay, Sherry. If you want to rewrite your rewrites, as long as you're making them better, as long as, oh, Natasha got kicked out. I'm sorry, honey. You there, Natasha? Okay, she's back with us. Okay, so And that's one of the things. I was working with Andrew the last couple of weeks. We did a free session on him, and he was like, I really like working with you. So he actually bought a package for me. And that's one of the things that I figured out, because when I went through level 2, I was just replaying stuff in my head, so to speak. And I'm like, I need to feel this. I need to bring that feeling in. So when I'm working with my clients, I say, what is it that you like to feel? And another thing, I posted this in my in the Self-Love Tribe, and a lot of people came back and said it was helpful. When I do a rewrite, I like to add flowers, and I like to, or some type of smell. Like I love lavender, so I'll add potpourri, or I'll add flowers, or something that I like to smell. And I'll add music, because it just takes it to a whole other level of feeling for me, to where I like to replay it. I like to be in it, and I get into that feeling of the happiness, and I usually ask, what is this rewrite giving you? What is it you're feeling? And I try to make sure that there's a link to what it is, the main thing that we're changing. So if you're not doing that right now, make sure, let's see. I was like that too, and I've been working on the lack of attention to myself. The I can do it myself feeling reminding me I'm important to me. Yeah, Wendy, I definitely understand you. And that was one of my biggest things, was to take that time for me, to put me first. Because even though I don't have anybody, so to speak, in my world here in Nashville, because a lot of my family lives in Phoenix or in Montana, and I haven't had a significant other for a while, but I have somebody that we're kind of getting sweet on, but he's a really good guy. Totally different from what I've ever attracted before. And, but that was the thing, was, because I saw it in my relationships, doing everything for them, not for myself. Even when I worked, I had people that I would work for. And even though I knew that I had gifts to be out there in front of other people, that I really wanted to help other people, I was staying in the background, and helping them, rise to the top of their field, or whatever it is, because of the way that I'm really good at focusing, and they were not good at focusing. So that's one of the things. It's just, there again, that's why it's called Self-Love Tribe, because it's really learning how to love ourselves in so many ways, taking that time. And what I encourage people to do, which I don't think I've really gotten to talk to you guys about, is tapping on self-esteem, self-love, and self-compassion. I'll type it in here for you guys. Self-love, self-esteem, and self-compassion. I try to get into a routine of tapping on myself just about every day. Oops, I didn't spell it right. Anyhow, you guys know what I mean. I tap up. Do you all know how to tap up?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, you don't, Lynn? Okay. If you want to join the Self-Love Tribe, there is a video in there. There's several videos of how to tap up, what it is that we want. And we'll be kind of getting into that a little bit today. So you just check in. How high is my self-esteem from 0 to 10? And of course, you want to get it to an 8 or a 10, wherever you want it to be, as long as it goes up. And then you just kind of like tap. Whatever it is, whatever it's about that's keeping my self-esteem from going up, I just release and let it go. It's okay to let it go. It's good to let it go. And you do your rounds, and then you go in and check, see, where it's went to, and you just keep doing your rounds till you get it up. And then you do self-esteem, self-love, self-esteem, and self-compassion. Of course, self-compassion, that was always way down there for me, because that's the beating ourselves up. And that's another thing that I don't remember Robert talking about a lot, but that's one of the things I love about this work. I am so much more in control of my world than I used to be. I was running, even when I was taking training, tapping on myself, I was just, wow, Natasha keeps getting knocked out. I'm so sorry. is you get control of your world more. You get control of your subconscious, just like Robert talks about. And it calms down our subconscious. At least that's what I'm experiencing. Because there was so, because I even tried meditation. I would sit there and I would, let my thoughts go by and I would do that kind of stuff. But it wasn't changing those experiences that were creating all that subconscious chatter. Are you doing okay, Natasha? I know you keep getting popped out.
Yeah, for some reason I'm getting bumped out.
I'm sorry, sweetie.
I'll rejoin, not a problem.
Okay. I'll keep letting you in, but hopefully you're good for now. So the recording of my voice saying good things to myself has helped my positive inner voice. Good. And yeah, tapping in affirmations is also good too. Okay, so we work on ourselves in the moment. Let's see, I always forget to share. Let me make sure that I share what it is that I'm talking about here. So we work ourselves in the moment. We work on our past to rewrite it and create something new. We shift our states of consciousness by working on the past and the present. So that's one of the reasons why when we get triggered, when we're not in a good mood, whatever it is, we do our best to defrack it and get ourselves into a better state of being. So one of the things that really changed me in helping me, because I had so much grief with Ryan and my life and the choices that I made and him not being here and not being able to be a part of his life as he grew up and got married and, had other kids and so forth. I do have a grandson who lives in Phoenix. That's what I was dealing with COVID, all that stuff that I had ignored by taking care of kids and, being in relationships and being busy, is the fact of the defrac, where he talks about looking up and tapping and looking to the left and to the right until you get out of it, and then you bring your head down. That I had to do that a lot, and it made a huge difference. And then finding a video that's funny. Because I've had one person say to me, I don't know how you can laugh. I laugh because it's a good defrac. Because when you laugh, it really takes it down. So I love Olaf from the movie Frozen. He just makes me laugh because here's a snowman singing about being in the sun. You're gonna melt, dude. So it just makes me laugh. So I have that on my phone, and I play it, and then take it even further. I have a fart app on my phone, which I was totally against farting when I started this whole thing, and now it doesn't bother me. It's like, if it helps me, I'm doing it. If it helps me like all this stuff, I'm doing it. So I have this little fart app on here. So I turn it on, and it's a motion fart. So I'll be sitting on my bed, typing everything out that's going on with me and stuff. And then, and I'll pick it up and I'll watch Olaf and I'll start laughing. So then it starts farting. So then I start laughing even more. And I bring stuff down just like that. So people might think I'm crazy, but that's okay. As long as I'm letting that yucky stuff go, it doesn't matter to me. So any of you got questions about that? Okay. So we are shifting those states of consciousness by working on our past, those yucky experiences that we've had, and we're working on the present. It puts us in the present and it breaks up those states of being. So that's, in a nutshell, the way I see Utaptics Faster EFT, what it's done in my life. And that's another reason why I wanted to do this presentation, is because I remember what it's like being in level 1. Natasha met me in level 2. So she knows.
Talk about the law of attraction.
She met me in level 2. We were actually roommates in Oklahoma City. I've changed a lot, haven't I, honey?
Yeah, we both have.
Yeah, we both have. Much more calmer. I was ready to leave. I was like, oh my God, I can't do this. I can't sleep. I can't be in a hotel room with another person and just my stomach, because I've been working on IBS issues. I was, I was like, this is just crazy. I was ready to leave. And she talked me out of it. Thank you, girlfriend. Thank you.
Mm.
Because it is the best thing. Unity was one of the first things that I ever did, because I had community and I started learning how to, think positively, to set intentions, to pray in a different way, to ask for what it is that I wanted. Because of course I didn't grow up, we were told to pray, but I certainly did not feel worthy enough to ask for what it was that I wanted. So, so let's choose something to work on. Is there something you guys want to work on that you want to let go of? But I know we're heading into 7:30. So do you want to go ahead and focus on something that we do want? Okay. All right.
Sure.
Good. Because that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this, because I knew, because that was another challenge for me. Even though, there was times that I asked for what I wanted, for me to actually sit there and be
Mhm.
in that feeling and think about what it is that I wanted, picture what it is that I wanted. And then that's what I started doing, because Jack Canfield, he decided he wanted to make $100,000 in a year, and he wanted to help people, and he wanted to change his lifestyle. So he would sit there, he has little postcards, and he has the different desires that he wants and the different, lifestyles that he wants to experience. And he would sit there and visualize them and get into
Mhm.
that space of how it feels. So did you guys bring your stuff that you want? Or do you know it? Sherry looks like, I don't know. I don't know if I want anything.
Well, yeah, I want plenty of money to do everything I need to do in Utaptics.
Okay, so put an amount out there of what it would cost. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Okay.
You don't have to tell me, but just so you have that place in your mind. So what I did, so Jack Canfield, he actually put a dollar bill up on his ceiling, and he would wake up and he would look at $100,000 every morning when he woke up. I tried to do that. Doesn't work for me. So shift it. I used to do the boards, the vision boards.
Yeah.
I never paid attention to them. My programs were running me. I had to be around everybody else. I couldn't be by myself. So I put it in my phone. I have a reminder. I did that for my rewrites, and I did it on here. So I have what it is that I want to make every month, and my rewrites, I have it in my phone to remind me every month. So it pops up and I see it and I focus on it. So
What do you mean by you put in your phone and it pops up? Can you?
So
Because see, I attract things, but not like not consciously, if that makes any sense.
So I go to the day, well, I go to the month first, and I go to whatever, just a day, like tomorrow, the 20th. And in my phone, I can set up a reminder. Can you see that?
Oh, the reminder. Okay.
I set up a reminder, and I put it at about 9:00 at night, because usually, no matter what, 9:00 at night, I'm settling down, or even if I'm out driving, it pops up and I see it. So, so just pick a good time. And I put the reminder in, and I set it in for every day. So, yeah. So just think about what it is that you want, or if it's a rewrite you want to work on, whatever it is that you want to work on. But set that intention of what it is that you want. Get into that desire. And of course, if you can't get into the desire, there's work that needs to be done. And that's the thing that I love about Faster EFT. Before it was like, oh, I want this, but how do you let go of the stuff that's in the way? So just get into that desire of what it is, ever it is that you wanted. So like me, I started picturing how it would feel, how safe it would feel. And I was going to do this for ourselves. So let me get over here. Oh, you're not gonna be able to hear it. That's right, because I'm on here. Let's see, I'll shift it though. I'll play a little bit of meditation music.
Was that your great grandmother?
So just get into the feeling of what it is that you want and how it would feel to have it. So like having that extra money, that would be exciting. It would feel safe for me. It would feel good. There's a part of me that would feel proud of myself. But most of all, it would make me feel safe. So just get into those feelings, and I'm going to unplug this, so hopefully you guys can hear this. Can you guys hear that?
Yes.
Okay, good. So just get in that feeling and be there. Just like we do in our rewrites, but we're doing it differently. And I picture that amount of money on my statement in my checking account. And how that would feel. And even if it takes you a little while, be persistent with it. It would make me feel safe. It would make me feel relaxed. Okay. Hopefully everybody was able to get into that state. Was everybody able to get into more of a feeling state? Yeah. How about you, Sherry?
Yeah, I think I need to do some tapping.
You think you need to do some tapping? That's okay. That's okay. As long as you know where you're headed. I worked with one gal. I'm trying to think of how, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but because she's in another country. And I put out there for a free session around money because it was one of the things that I wanted to work on. And so we worked on her, and we didn't do anything about money at all. We worked on some trauma that she'd actually experienced with her sister and her mother. And because she was spending money, and her husband was like, COVID, you got laid off. We kind of need to back down on the spending and stuff like that. And even though she consciously knew that she needed to change, she was still doing the same thing. And it was all because of that, like I was talking about, that subconscious mind. She was trying to feel comfortable, and she would get online, and she would, look onto these online shops, and she would shop to help herself feel better. But once we went through that session, it shifted for her. So yeah, persistence and consistency. If you want,
so just to add, it's not about the money.
No, it's not.
It's never about the money. The debt, the spending, the not able to earn. It's not about the money ever. So yeah, good job.
Yeah, because money is just, like they say, it's just energy. It's just energy. It's about our relationships, about how we feel about ourselves, how deserving we feel, and even just what I want to do. The reason why I want to make that money is because I want to feel comfortable. I want to feel safe. I want to be able to help a lot of people. I want to be able to get my children's books out there. I want to be able to do that because I want everything that I've been through, Ryan transitioning early. I want that to pay off. I want it to mean something more than me just being here and just doing life. I want it to have impact, because he would be proud of that. He would be proud of that. He would love that. So does anybody have any questions?
How do you tap up? Is that-
How do you tap up? Okay. So is there something specific that you want to tap up?
I guess about feeling worthy of caring for yourself.
Okay. So like I said, that was one of the things that I was doing. I was tapping on that self-esteem, self-love, and self-worth. So from 0 to 10, how strong is your self-esteem? You don't have to share the number with me. Just notice it. And you just trust what number comes up. You know, if it's 2, if it's 5, if it's 0, you know, if you're not, usually if it was, you know, I didn't really get anything, I would just assume it was 0 and I just start tapping. So then go ahead and tap. I just release and let it go. It's good to let it go. It's safe to let it go. Whatever's there, whatever it's about, I just release and let it go. Whatever it's connected to. Because I'm worthy of having the things that I desire in life, to help other people get what they desire in their life. Because we can give and we can help people. We can have fun. I truly believe that life was meant to be fun. And it wasn't fun for the longest time. Oh my goodness. So grateful for this work. So I just release and let it go, whatever's there. Moo moo quack quack.
Moo moo quack quack.
Moo moo quack quack.
Quack doodle doo.
Now with the tapping it up, I don't go into good memories. If you want to, if you feel that works for you, you can do that. But we usually don't. So, and then so check back in, how high is the self-esteem from 0 to 10. And just notice the number. Did it go up for everybody?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So go ahead and just start tapping. I don't know, whatever it is. I'm open to whatever it's connected to. And of course, doing, you know, a session around your self-esteem is really good. That's some of the stuff that came up when we worked on. That's a replay. You guys may, if you want to join the Self-Love Tribe, I worked 2 weeks ago with Andrew on his shoulder, and everything that came up was around self-esteem. So you guys can borrow those benefits by tapping along with that session if you all want to. So I just release and let it go.
Just release and let it go.
It's okay to let it go.
Let it go.
It's good to let it go. It's safe to let it go. Oh, here, I did do this. Hang on one second. Okay, so go back and check it. Notice how strong it is from 0 to 10. How strong is my self-esteem? Did you get a new number? Has it went up for everybody? Just raise your hand. Okay, I see nods. Okay, all right. And then go ahead and start tapping and we'll listen to this. Whatever it is, whatever it's about.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here. You can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy I'm alone. Feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy I'm alone. If you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy I'm alone. If you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy I'm alone. If you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come back.
Hug your wrist, blow it out, and say peace. Everybody seems to like that song, so that's why I picked for.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, because I really try to do that. Like I said, finding videos that make me laugh. There's another video, I haven't shared it in a while, but it's babies laughing.
Oh, yeah.
pull one of those up, one that you like, find the one that you like. Oh my God. Okay, so go back and check your self-esteem. From 0 to 10, how strong is it?
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Good defrag. So is anybody up to 10 yet?
I think I'm almost there.
You're almost 10? Okay. Okay, so just notice whatever that number is. And okay, whatever's they watch this show.
I think it's my granddaughter.
I just release and let it go.
Release and let it go.
Whatever it is, whatever it's about.
Whatever it is, whatever it's,
I just release and let it go.
just release and let it go.
And the thing about doing this every morning when I woke up, it would keep me up in that space of, okay, if I'm in a good space, it would keep me in a more well-being by tapping those 3 up all day. And then when something went wacko, when I got triggered, I'd be more aware of it. And I go, whoops, okay, I don't want to be there. And I'd start tapping on it, start working on it. So I just release and let it go. It's okay to let it go. It's good to let it go. It's safe to let it go. Okay, hug your wrist, blow it out and say peace. And then check from 0 to 10, how strong is my self-esteem? Yep, yawning, Lynn's yawning, that's good. I'm yawning. I haven't worked on it today, so I'm yawning too. Okay, so is anybody, where's everybody else at? Kind of just give me an idea. Are we up to at least 8 yet?
I'm at a 9.
You're at a 9?
Mhm.
Okay, good. All right. Okay, so we'll just one more quick round. Hopefully everybody will be good. So whatever's left, whatever's there. I deserve to do this work,
So to do this work.
to put myself first,
Self first.
to change my energy to where I feel better and I attract better things in my life. Oh, and that's the other thing too. When I used to work for Uber before I got started in this, I'm attracting, I was hoping that this was going to help, but it worked. I am attracting so many different people. I used to get a drunk person in my car and they end up, I would get so upset and everything. I would be freaked out. Of course, I didn't have to work, but a lot of times they would throw up in my car.
Oh no.
It doesn't happen anymore. Everybody that is that drunk, they just pass out. And I'm like, I'm fine. It doesn't happen anymore. And I just overall, I have so much more fun and I just attract different people into my life. And every time if I go out and if I don't really do this, I forget to do this or I don't get into a better, I can tell. It's like, wow. I really was surprised that it did do that. I mean, they always said, do better space. You're going to attract better stuff. And I was just like, okay, but it does, it works. And that's
It's
why
true, it does work. And also we forget to, at least I forget to use it. But when I do use it, I find like I get somebody contacting me to be a client or something starts moving.
Yeah.
And then I go back to my default settings. So I must remember to do this more,
Yeah.
regularly. This is really awesome. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why I encourage my clients and why I got into doing it, because it's like, because we're so used to being in that dirty water, That's why I wanted to talk about that in that presentation, because it's like, that's why I manifested all those amazing, wonderful things about songwriting, because I wasn't in any dirty water. But the longer I was here, I started acting and doing the same things that I did when I was in Phoenix. I literally pretty much almost hated it here as much as I did in Phoenix, because I was just like, but I got involved in the Utoptics Faster EFT, and that's all changed, and I love it here. I love it here. It was just all about my attitude, all the stuff that I needed to let go, because it does energetically affect you. Having all that stuff piled up in our minds, it does energetically affect you. So yeah, so getting into that better state of being, working on yourself so you feel better, you attract better things. And it does, you know, like I've done Reiki before, and I think it might have helped. I even got whatever so I could work on people. I was in such a negative place. It was like, I don't want to put my hands on people. You know, I was, you know, in grief. You know, I was like, I don't want to put my hands on people. And it helped, but it doesn't, you know, this, I can tell when I get out of the flow, I get out of the flow, and then I work on myself, and then things start flowing again. It's just like, yeah, it is. It's really cool. It's really cool. Okay. Everybody feeling better?
Mhm.
Okay, good. Got any questions? Okay. So that's why I do lives every Monday night or something like this in my group, because I want you guys to have a place to show up, to stay on track, you know, because I know other than the tap alongs, there really isn't, unless you're doing, you know, level 1 or level 2, which you kind of have to keep yourself on track of, you know, working on yourself. There isn't, I think it's, I wanted that. I would have wanted that, to have that support system to keep, you know, working on myself. So anyhow, I'm so glad that y'all showed up. I appreciate it. And if nobody's got, let me see if there's anything else I had on my thingy here.
Will you send out an email to all of us with a Zoom meeting each week, or how?
Well, what I do is I announce it in the Self-Love Tribe. And yes, I did just set up my email. And so I am, yes, I am. I'm glad you asked that. I am able to do that.
Okay.
I am able to send out emails. So when I do something. So let me see if there's anything else that I was gonna share. Okay. Okay, we kind of, you know, what ways are you taking action to create a new state of being? I go for walks more often. I tap on myself. I work on my past experiences. And then I asked you guys the questions about working on yourself. And then we worked on focusing on what we do want. Okay, so cool. We covered it. So does anybody have anything else? Okay, awesome. Reach out if you got any questions. I'm here to support you, and see you around next time.
Thank you.
Okay, have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. Thanks for showing up, honey. Appreciate it.